Hello and welcome to St. John in New Brunswick, Canada, and the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2014. St. John on the southern coast of the province. It's also Canada's oldest incorporated city, a popular tourist destination, known for its cultural attractions and its natural wonders. All that though for another day. We're focusing on Harbour Station for the final day of round robin action. It's session 15 and our featured game is Sweden against China. I'm Alison Walker and alongside me Luke Coley. We'll be bringing you live commentary on the whole game as the teams march in. And Sweden and China, 5th and 6th in the standings, look so very, very important game for them.
Yeah, vital, trying to make that playoff push. China really can't afford to fall any further behind Sweden, trying to stay with the leaders. Well, they're in a position, they have a tough final day. China and Canada, they can't fall back, or they could be into a tiebreaker scenario.
On sheet A today, Team Korea and Team United States.
China had won 6 in a row, but losing last night. A lopsided loss to Russia. See how they rebound. They are a very inexperienced team at the world stage.
We have our young supporters in this morning. Some signs and flags for Team Sweden, but also for Team China. And here are the lineups for Sweden. Skip Margareta Sigridsson. At second, Maria Wennerström. Nina Beltrup plays third for Sweden. And the fourth playing the skip stones, Maria Pritz. And the Chinese lineup, Shi Tong, Jinli Liu, Yulun Yang, Seja Louis. And after session 14, and there are the standings, Switzerland, Canada out front, 8 and 1. Sweden 7 and 2, and just behind them, China 6 and 3. And also lurking there too, Korea 6 and 3 as well. The United States still with an opportunity. 1 and 8, the teams holding up the table. Denmark, Germany and Latvia.
Well, just awaiting the go-ahead is see important games today.
Yep, absolutely. Not Korea, United States, one absolutely crucial. Still in with a chance, these two teams. We have Russia, Switzerland and Germany against Latvia. So plenty for the crowd to enjoy this morning. We're focusing on this one. Sweden against China.
Well, Sweden losing last night. They're going to try and rebound. Just a second loss. Their other one coming to Russia. Try to rebound, put themselves in a position, make a playoff push, not allow those 3 loss teams to come back to them.
And what do we read into the Chinese lineup look with Shi Xiaotung coming in?
Well, I think it's a good change. We saw Ray Wang struggle a little bit with her draw weight. She had some missed shots, and changing it looked maybe fatigue a factor, as it's a long week coming in. So the change in the lineup, they hadn't changed it since the second game of round robin, so they went a long stretch with the same lineup. Now they put their alternate in, Xiaotung She, who played that first game, steps in.
And there she is. Okay, she's 21. Curled for 8 years. From Harbin in China. Played in the World Juniors as alternate for the same skip, and in the World University Games. So it's still a bit of a step up for her this event.
Well, that won't help to start. Played 78% in their first game, a loss to the USA.
These girls, Margareta Sigfridsson, battle-hardened on the circuit. They know what's required. Years of experience. She's such a solid player to get things going for Sweden.
Last night ran into a Switzerland team that didn't want to take too many risks. They kept it fairly simple, decided to go after it with the hammer and be cautiously aggressive. Sweden puts the corner guard up. See how China goes about it. They got a steal in the first end and then gave up lots of scoring, 8 straight points to Russia. Couldn't come back from that. The back end will be key. Sedye Liu, how she plays compared to Maria Pritz. We've all seen Maria Pritz at her finest, making lots of shots.
So Shotang She hoping for a little bit better with her second stone. Still trying to get measure of the ice in these early stages.
Counteract to put up the corner guard is the center line guard. Margareta go behind the corner.
See it swinging now, goodness me. Almost directly behind her other red. Jinli Lui, 25-year-old second for China, also from Harbin. Alternate for Bingyu Wang in Sochi.
Well, able to make the hit, little roll to the side. Again, we are on sheet D for this game, so keep an eye. Have seen those side sheets curl a little bit more away from the boards. A little bit straighter towards the center of the ice surface. Of course, regular junior hockey rink, and not used for curling this week. Home of the St. John Sea Dogs.
Maria Wennerstrom. The second for Sweden. Making sure that yellow one disappears. Here's the rules of play for you. Minimum of 6 ends. Each team can't take longer than 73 minutes. And they have the coach interaction, with the clock continuing to run. So Yang, second shot.
Well, able to get to it, but playing deep in the rings, rolls out. Really opens an opportunity for Sweden to take advantage. Try and generate offense here early in this game. Draw around the corner guard.
Looking at the timings here from hog to hog.
That's a path they have thrown already, but didn't really throw in practice. And it will curl a bit more that way. Crossing center, crashes on the front. But 15-8 hog to hog, that will be a little bit, not enough, a little bit slower than what they need in order to put that in the perfect spot. Probably 15-2, 15-3.
And the players will adjust accordingly. Timings are usually spot on. Yilun Yang, 21-year-old third for China. Skip out, giving that one a little bit of help.
And that's nothing new to this Chinese team, getting the thrower or the skip out to help drag that one. It goes into the top part of the rings. Sedia Liu able to get out, not disrupt the other two sweepers. Had that extra brush to get that one to the top part of the house. Christina Bertrup has to play this short little raise now. And will just pick that one out. Will they get lucky? They do jam, but stays out of the rings.
Christina Bertrup, 37-year-old from Sundsvall in Sweden.
A lot more space on that, a little more weight. Goes back forefoot. Maybe portion of that one underneath. Well, there's a look how much visible. Good look down the sheet for Christina Bertrup, and just playing quiet weight. I like the call here. Oh, past the guard, great sweep, Pritz Weinerstrom. Just nice, quiet weight, able to control it with the sweepers. Gets down to it.
You really did see the role of the sweeping there, didn't you?
Absolutely, holding that one to get it by. Keep that one going. Knew they had to make the hit. Only problem with where that goes now is a good freeze by Sedia Liu. There's really no way to get it out.
Yeah, Louis, the Chinese skip. Skipped the World Juniors 2010 in Switzerland.
Well, won't be able to utilize that stone behind the tee line. Just crashes on the front. Well, they have to protect. They can't leave that one back button without a stone in front of it for Sweden.
Ungefär som den banan, tror jag.
So back button, Maria Pritz Had 2 subpar games in a row now. She's going to try and bounce back. The 4th ranked skip percentage-wise coming in, but playing 68% in her last 2 games.
Missed a couple of key shots against Scotland, but still managed to win. So she's pointing. But on form, one of the best in the business in the women's game. And when she's not curling, she's got 5 children to look after. My goodness.
Brings more meaning to the word a handful.
Nicely through there.
Just wants to be in front of this one. Doesn't want to bounce off and leave a pocket. Just a little heavy. China, a glorious opportunity now. Weld one in, and there won't be anything for Sweden to do.
Difficult one to judge that.
Well, it's on that in-turn side going away. It will be a little bit faster because it runs a hair straighter than the out-turn side. See which way Sedye Liu wants to go after this. They just saw that in-turn go down. They could try and navigate that port, you see. Get right in behind that Yellowstone. And they will play the same out-turn draw.
So they've seen the path of the stone already. And the way it reacts to the ice. Let's see what the Chinese skip can do.
I'll just have to wait for the line, have to get past that one. Sedye Liu got to drag it down over curling. And I think it's 3rd shot. I think there's a draw for 3 now. Good chance for a steal. Over curls, they had to wait for that corner garden. I don't know if they could have played that draw the way it curls to make that freeze.
Yeah, I think their expectations of that shot perhaps didn't match the result. Perhaps it wasn't really on. Either way, it's advantage Sweden.
Inte super, men jag förstår vad du menar. Jag tror att vi kommer köla mycket efter garden om jag har farten så vi kan sopa. Ja. Kan spela, alltså, men jag tror att det är trångt här också. Kan man inte spela en på antingen köpa i våran eller spela? Den här är andra sten. Aha. Så vi kan inte träffa den där något. Nej, det är lätt på linjen liksom. Det verkar ut som den vägen tycker jag här. Den här ja. Hålla oss tight på den. Ja, så att vi kan få 3 på den. Det är därför vi säger hellre liksom nästan. Vi går jättetajt på garden, Maggan.
I'm not able to translate, but I have a feeling they were talking about playing this way, because if you wreck on the guard, you still get your 2. You're going to curl into it. Really tough to over curl it and chip that yellow one in for a shot. If you play the straight turn, might hang on you. You might actually chip it in and give up a steal, lose the 2 counters you have right now. So the out turn to the button, chance to score 3.
And what a start that would be. It's following a similar line to Chinese skip.
Well, I don't know if this one will have the weight. Little cautious draw for the extra point. We won for sure, they'll confirm it. Might see a measure on that for that second one. Just to
No, they're saying it's 2 to Sweden. They wanted 3. Don't think they'll be too unhappy with that start. And after the first end, it's Sweden 2, China 0.
There too.
Let's take a look at what else is happening out there in the arena. Russia against Switzerland. First end of this one. Anna Sidorova, the Russian skip. Russia on 7 wins, remember, last stone.
All very important game. Russia can really position themselves well to the playoff picture with a win in this one. There is a biter out there, and the nose hit, so a single point for Russia as they're facing 2. Anna Sidorova with the win yesterday. They come in a game back of Switzerland. A win there. They're tied for second place and would have the tiebreaker against Switzerland. Russia's last game is against Czech Republic, who's lower behind them in the standings at 2 and 7. So have to like their chances if they can win this one to be in that 1-2 game.
It would make life a lot easier for the Russian team if they could take that. But Switzerland have been the team of the week.
And a win by Russia would guarantee, at worst, well, they would, can't guarantee anything actually quite yet. As I look at the standings, I was going to say, at worst would be a tiebreaker scenario.
These morning games are absolutely crucial. These are the ones where the pendulum will sway one way or the other. There's the Chinese alternate. She was the alternate.
And we'll hit and roll out. This is what we saw from Ray Wang. Put her on the bench for this game. Shotong Shea rolls out. Sweden is up, so they're going to go in with their lead stones. Margareta Sigfridsson. Interesting thing with Margareta Sigfridsson, does not have a good record against China in international play. One of the few teams she does not have a good record against. She's 1 and 5 in international play.
And yet most of the time it would have been Betty Wang she would have been playing, because she's been the dominant force in Chinese women's curling over the years. This is a new Chinese team. And there's Ray Wang, who's sitting this one out alongside the coach Tan Weidong. And this is the girl taking her place in this one against Sweden.
Well, China has liked to keep things a little simpler. At times, with the hammer, the first stone goes in, they'll play the hit.
There's the Swedish bench. Sarah McManus, the Swedish alternate. Very Scottish name, but definitely Swedish.
From Gavel, Sweden. A couple of World Junior appearances.
Find it hard to break into this team though. Very successful quartet.
But a younger player, you look at the age of the team, looking towards, obviously, it's all, a lot of it builds towards the Olympic quadrennials, and Maria Pritz is 37. Christina Bertrup, 37. Margareta Sigfridsson, 38. Maria Weinerström is 28. She's the youngest. Have to start looking towards the future at some point as well, bringing along for those experiences. You learn things sitting behind the bench, and you sit there 11 round robin games and next to Fredrik Hallström and Pia Lindholm. I think you probably learn a few things.
And also the girls have been on the circuit for some time now. They have families. The demands of this level of curling can make life a bit difficult. So even if you're at the top of your game, you might decide that you've had enough.
Well, Maria, a great example, as you said, has 5 children back home.
Yep. Stepmom to 3 of them, 4 of them, I think. In fact, has she got 6 she looks after?
I forgot one. Forgot about the oldest, Julia.
Goodness, it must be easier coming around the world playing curling.
It's a holiday.
Yeah. That's
Comes to work to lie 2 for Team Sweden. They're in the second end, or without the hammer after getting an early 2. Well, Sweden has a very high, or pardon me, China has a high guard. Tough to really use because of the way it'll curl. Can use those red stones to their advantage. First, try and get one in behind. Try and get a mistake out of your opponent.
You just have to ask the question. Get the stones in. Ask the question of the opposition. Challenge them to make the difficult shots. It's usually the Swedish strategy.
Well, they were trying to get in behind. They go top part of the rings. Second shot. See, room to go with the out turn. Actually came out the other side. Well, able to get to that one actually quite easily. Make the hit and the stick.
Here is the Chinese coach, Tan Weidong.
While looking to use those stones. A real aggressive call in the second end, facing multiple counters, and has to curl. They're trying to use that stone in the top 12 foot. Well, it's shot stone, but because of the length of that stone out in front, we'll be able to get at it.
Fredrik Hallström, the Swedish coach.
That's what Christina Bertrup, who has twins at home, Oscar and Liam, 8 years old.
And she's been away from home a lot this year.
Well, wreck on the guard, so China puts one in a position that gets a mistake from Sweden. And now decision. How do you try and get your 2? Do you throw another guard? Do you protect that one? Or do you freeze that back red? Last to third stones. I think I like the guard.
Looking at the guard. Get some protection up.
这边粘一个太难了，要粘一个。头一个也是吧？头一个你投到这个位置，投这儿太近了，往这儿来一个呢？往这儿投一个啊？往这儿吗？往这儿给它露出来了，还没得劲，粘一个这边接找一个。这投一个吗？你们要不往这儿来一个吧？现场还得往里来一个。站。这条线太近了。能往那边投一打进吗？打进吧。打一个保险的。打进吧。啊，行，主要投一个特别好的位置，那边。就粘那个就行，粘那个红的。对，就是粘那个红的。粘那红的吧。
Well, they decided to hit the back one. They were talking about the guard. They were talking about corner freezing that top one.
What are they worried about here?
Worried if they throw a guard that there's that, just to protect their Yellowstone, there's the red stone top 12-foot that Sweden could run in. They were going to hit the back one, but worried about it, they might leave a double. You could freeze the back one. The problem is, don't know if they know where to put the broom to make that perfect freeze, and you bounce off, then you leave a double again.
As we saw in the last end.
So not going to end up freezing the top one. They're going to come down to their own. A little bump. Should be able to. Maria Pritz can throw it hard enough to make the double.
China not too unhappy with that.
Alltså lite utsida här med din clearing. Jag tycker vi sätter ner den rakt där. Va? Jag tycker den kommer att sitta rakt där. Nej, jag tror vi får den över. Eller att den touchar över i alla fall. Alternativet är ju bara den här också.
I think they were looking at trying to get on the left side of that top yellow, which to make the double, which is awfully tight to that top red. At the same time, you miss that, it could jam onto the back. It could come off the yellow to the red.
Yeah, it does have some risks attached to it, this shot.
I like throwing the intern at it, hit the center line side of that top stone. Angle doesn't line up that way. This tough one to just get by the front.
She must fancy her chances here of getting it, though.
Very confident in Maria Pritz throwing that final stone, throwing the out turn. Well, got to get past that top one. They'll just sneak by, and that's the worry. Got by about as close as she could to that guard and still jams. That was the risk, and I wasn't a big fan playing it that way for that reason.
She couldn't have played it any better, to be honest, but the result was always going to be a bit risky. There you see it. Let's have a look at Sheet B again. That Russia-Switzerland game. They're in the second end now. Russia scoring in the first. This time it's the Swiss skip.
Benya Felcher has a chance. He's facing two. Those rocks for Anna Sidorova in Russia split perfectly on opposite sides of the forefoot. Where she figures she has enough. I thought they were fairly even. A tough double to try and punch them out. There are some stones in the 12-foot. Maybe a little bit of an angle. Get one and have enough to punch that one out. That was a tough double. Couldn't have thrown it much better.
Yep,
and it'll go down, just gets the one.
She's played well this week. Second end, yep, one apiece. What can China get in this one? In our featured games, facing the Swedes.
Well, they touch the guard, but it's not a terrible position because the double's a tough... Could end up catching on that side red in the process. Might just have to try and hit and roll.
China with last stone, remember.
Well played as well as she could have on her first attempt to make the double, jammed. Has to be precise on this, can't miss hit it and miss the double and jam the shooter onto that red stone. Wasn't what China was perfectly looking for, but it went to a pretty good position. Another hit here from Maria Pritz. Nothing the whole way down. Will just hit and roll in, leaving it open hit to tie things up for Team China.
That was just about all Maria Pritz and Sweden could do there. And this should be fairly straightforward for SWE-CHN.
Well, you see the ice given. It'll be just a nice, easy hit weight. SWE-CHN has had full control of this week.
So last stone of this second end. China looking to pull level. And executes it pretty well. Good end result. China do get there too. And after two ends, it is now Sweden 2, China 2. You're watching live coverage of the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2014. Round robin action here at Harbour Station, and our featured game, Sweden against China. We're into the third end. Alison Walker and Luke Coley with you for this entire game. Great to have your company. An important game for both these teams. Nothing secure at all yet in the standings.
Well, Shotong Shea came into the lineup after playing game one, sat out until draw 15 here and has not started things well. She's in a tough battle against Sigfridsson, the lead position. They got in trouble yesterday, that being China, on lead stones. They were chasing for numerous ends, and that led to steals.
Sigfridsson doesn't do a lot of sweeping, but she's out there after throwing this one.
Well, knows she needs to put that corner guard in a good position with that first stone going through. Now, Shea will have to put a centerline guard up.
I think she was sweeping because Tina Bertrup had popped to the loo.
Just took a little break.
It's a long time to be out here. And these girls are using a lot of energy. They get dehydrated if they don't drink.
Well, that one intended to be a guard ends up sliding in. Two choices. Could play the hit and roll underneath or just a straight draw. Margareta electing to play the hit and roll. Looking to use the corner guard. Important, even if you don't make the roll, that you keep your shooter. Otherwise, China could peel the corner, not wanting to get into a corner guard game without the hammer. There's the hit. Quiet wait. Will it stick in the rings? And it will roll out. So now we'll see. China goes about. Sedia Liu doesn't want to get into the play behind the corner, but has elected to put the centerline guard up. Trying to bring play to the center of the house. Well, that guard in a tough spot to really utilize because of the amount of curl we've seen in the upper third out in front of the house. Just getting caught. We've seen that a couple times from Weinerstrom crashing on the front guard.
Again, the Chinese skip helping to drag this one in to get it to the top. That outer ring.
Vi kommer inte in med någon sten om vi gör den här. Men den är också okej. Den nu. Ja.
So Maria Wennerstrom's second stone. Not quite working out with the first, catching the guard. This one down a different side.
well, no real choice but to try and play to the center. Beinerstrom wrecked on the corner. Play was definitely moving towards the center of the house and knowing that's where China's going to go. Looking to beat him to that spot. That one top part of the rings and available.
Yep.
The side will curl a little bit more.
See a lot of it there. Two impassive faces of the two skips there. Concentrating intently and everywhere that Sigfridsson goes. So the yellow is behind her. So again, a similar path for this one, different weight. Is it going to catch that yellow one? It is.
I just can't get in behind. I like the call to be aggressive to beat China to that spot and get around the center line guards. But it just goes off of that top one, can't get around. Nose isn't bad. You can get a little roll. Nose leaves yourself in a good control position. And Sweden will have to start hitting, I think, rather than play an aggressive offensive shot. Just that little roll away will get a biter. Lie two.
So they'll try and give it another go. The Swedish girls. This time, Bertrup. Same line.
While trying to get a little rub off of that one, and over curls, they miss getting the rub off the yellow. An alert attempt by Margareta, but just a little bit too late. They're unable to make it. They get in for shot. As has become the common theme here, still able to get at that one. That long guard really doesn't play a factor. Well, they changed gears. No, they make the hit. They're still going to be behind the tee line. Play the freeze, have some backing. So the school kids have converted to Swedish fans here this morning.
There are some Chinese as well, right beside them.
It's been fun to see the skips interact. Remember a couple days ago, Switzerland had their school that became the cheering section for Team Switzerland, and they won the game, and they celebrated with them. They were waving to them, took time to sign some autographs, and it was lots of fun. Good experience for the children, able to come in. And
the players do like it. They like that support out there. It's a big help.
Well, get by the guard. Sedia Liu right on the nose. So after flip-flopping on shot decision a couple times, they decide to play the hit. See lots of room past that top guard. They were hoping maybe to get a bit of a roll. Now, did she? I don't think she wanted him to sweep there. Trying to get maybe a little bit more inside. And by inside, underneath of those guards towards the center line.
So Maria Pritz for Sweden with the first of her 2 stones. Along this well-worn path now, look.
So the out-turn freeze, needing to put that there.
As we're watching that, let's have a quick look at Sheet B, Russia against Switzerland in the third end. This time it's Anna Sidorova with the final stone.
I think Benia Felcher got shot stone in the top of the button, or side of the button, pardon me. Anna Sidorova going out with the out turn. Russian skip, impressive in victory last night.
Yeah, they've come into a game now.
96% in a commanding victory over China. Would love another one as they try to get the button. Need the button here to get the single. Well, make sure they get enough. And it looks like it'll get down. And it is a single for Russia, so 2-1. Pivotal playoff game.
This is the stone of the Chinese skip.
Just guarding after Maria Pritz got out a little bit wider with hers. She crashed on that top one, chipped, rolled under. It is second shot.
Just trying to block that pathway in.
We have seen this side curl a little bit. I wonder if there is a chance. Try and come down and play a little tap on that stone back forefoot. Margareta was looking at the run. I think Maria suggested, I think we can play the out-turn draw tap. I've seen a couple of their stones track, and by that just stay straight, not move.
They've done all they can to make it as difficult as possible for Maria Pritz in Sweden. Not an easy shot. So the last stone of this third end from Maria Pritz of Sweden.
Well, on it, have to get past the guard out in front. And they end up touching it. Wouldn't have been past their own. And it's a steal of 1 for China. So Chinese side take a single.
They put the pressure right on there ahead of that final stone. The placement was good and forced Maria Pritz to make the error. And after 3, it's now Sweden 2. China 3. Elsewhere, Korea against the United States. You see the scoreboard behind there. It's Korea 0, United States 3. Great start for the States. Korea attempting to get back into this.
웨이트 원바 라인 좋아. 웨이트만 라인 거야. 라인 거야.
And the final stone from them. And it's looking quite good.
Yeah, facing a couple. He's given up 3 points stolen. The U.S. love the hammer for the first time in the fourth end. And a 3-1 lead, so have to be happy with the start to that one. U.S. right now sits 5-4 out of the playoff picture, and they need help. They need the 3 lost teams to lose, and they need one of the 2 lost teams, that being Russia and Sweden, to lose. So they look over, they see Sweden losing. They have to be happy with that.
But the must win is the must win. They have to concentrate on what they're doing, get that victory. Meantime, in our featured game, Sweden against China. Steal for China in the last end. It's them in a good position. Greta Sigfridsson, the skip. Overall, she's 85%. Throwing these lead stones. Wanting to build something. The start of this end. %78% for Sho Tong-she. Only played a couple of games. Still found it hard to find her way in the first couple of ends. It's settling in now.
Well, center line guard, the corner, China lies 1. Their first lead of the game. And as we build closer and closer to the playoffs, U.S. can only hope for help. They got help 2 years ago when Alison Pottinger started 0-5. They ended up going 6-5, getting into a tiebreaker as Scotland defeated Canada in the last round robin draw to get into a tiebreaker with them. They will need a little more help this time around.
And teams peak at different times. Some start well, some go well in the middle, some get going towards the end. Just makes it a little bit more nervous and more dramatic if you're a supporter of that particular team.
Well, little mistake there. Margareta Sigfridsson, little heavy, doesn't curl, and China has lead stones in a good position. That makes a big difference. Choosing to leave that stone off the side of the forefoot.
Sho Tong-she producing a couple of good placements for her team. Louis for Team China.
Well, and Jin Lee was a member of China's only World Championship title. That was in 2009. He was also a member of the bronze medal win by that Bing Yuang team in 2010. She was the alternate in those 2 events, but an Olympian, and not just an Olympian, Olympic medalist. Something that won't ever be taken away.
Maria Wennerstrom, 83% is her tournament accuracy. Olympic silver medalist Sweden, beaten in the final in Sochi by Canada.
And I have to wonder how much fatigue is coming in, how much they're long weeks, lots of time traveling, lots of distractions, and you only see 3 teams playing in the Olympics. Now we're here that Russia, Korea, and Sweden all in playoff contention. But Sweden back end missing a few shots yesterday, trying to get back on form and win some more games to get into the playoffs.
Still expected to be there or thereabouts at the end of the weekend.
Well, China puts another guard out in front. Leaves himself lying 2.
And this Chinese team keen to prove that they're every bit as good as previous Chinese teams. Bingyu Wang, the one that we're used to seeing out in the circuit.
Well, get them all moving. Look at that. That's everything that was yellow in play. Gets moving on one shot. Just a fabulous shot to clear the center and leaves corner guards. Leaves their stone on the side as shot. Watch this. Red to the yellows. And they all get going, including losing 2 in the rings. Lose the guards.
1, 2, 3, 4 bumps. And away they go.
China went from a real good position to steal to now needing to make a play. They are still shot stone top of the 8-foot. Yilun Yang, 76%. Was late arriving, wasn't here for their first game. Was in the middle of the pack, 6th among the thirds.
Very young team this. She's just 20. Yilun. Wei Wang, 19. Lui is 25.
Well, they put the guard up, but a real interesting decision that they put a corner guard up. So plays to Sweden's favor to keep the 4-foot open for Maria Pritz and 4 stones if they have to draw for 1. Well, trying to get by, and this one crashing to the guard.
And Sigfridsson at the other end shouting, knew that, but there was only so much the Supers could do.
She was hoping to coerce the stone with her calls to get it by the front.
You really do think that makes a difference.
Some people, the louder you holler, they think it's gonna get by. Is
And sometimes it does.
On Germany and Latvia.
Let's check on them. Newman with the last stone. Germany found it hard this week. 4th end, but they're 3-0 up.
And it's this week has been a learning experience for Imogen Una Lehmann. A battle through, as likewise for Latvia. They will get their 2 in open hit. Evita Reja, Latvian team.
Both just on 1 win so far. And just trying to get as many wins as they can on the board.
Well, Latvia started off 1-0. They won their first game against Scotland. Haven't won since. And they'll finish in the final round robin draw. They'll take on Denmark, another team having a disappointing week.
We'll hope to get a win this one and finish with 3 in this team's first World Championships. But these two teams are looking to be at the business end, the medals end.
Well, they're a little surprised that one came up short. They're trying to draw in. A little disappointed missing an opportunity to use that red stone out front, draw in behind it, because you know that Sweden's going to try and set up their two. They have 3 stones remaining. It just takes one good draw and all of a sudden a deuce is still in play.
So we haven't seen too much down this side of the ice, look.
Well, get in, get shot stone. Very nice. Christina Bertrup. Not fully protected, but does force China to go after them. Dictating the way they want to play.
Good overhead shot there to see the actual curl behind.
Maria down and goes. And you look how much of that is available. It will curl to get to it, but you have to play that quiet weight, which will bring the curl into play. And once it goes, real tough for the sweepers to hold it. Sedye Liu.
74%.
Again, middle of the pack, tied for 5th. Trying to get past the front. No, they're not going to, so they're trying to make sure that they don't chip and leave both of them in. And that will all of a sudden leave Sweden lying 2. That just disastrous.
It looked way off as well. So a bonus for Sweden here.
A gift really after that one. They were sitting one in a pretty good spot by Christina Bertrup. I wonder if Sedye Liu had fully committed to playing that shot. They looked at a few options, how much was available.
It's that old thing, you don't know whether, if you don't feel 100% in throwing it, should you throw it?
Well, Maria Pritz right out to the broom, and a good look at the release down the sheet of ice from ice level. Trying to draw in, just lie to at the moment. And pardon me, just trying to plug the hole.
Gotta get it past this other yellow one, or in that spot. And that looks pretty good.
Using those others, spacing them out, no ports. Went after that first rock miss. Sedye Liu is forced and resigned to the fact that she's going to have to hit this back one and give up 2. Doesn't want to give up the big end.
Important shot. Chinese skip. Not an easy shot by any means. Sweden sitting pretty.
Well, was hoping to make the hit and try and roll back 4 foot. With that rollout, no real look at that lone Yellowstone in the rings, but It's going to be a draw to score 2. And this all set up by a double raise double by Maria Weinerström to open it up.
Maria Pritz would want to be performing a bit better than that, 78% for the whole tournament. But this one to secure 2 for Sweden.
Yeah, it just needs full 8-foot. Playing this in turn. They did throw for the draw to the button.
And nicely done.
Perfect weight. And another deuce for Sweden. They retake the lead.
Another very different end. Nothing to choose really between these two. After 4, Sweden 4, China 3. Elsewhere, Korea against the United States on the other outside sheet. Last stone from Alison Pottinger, skip of Team USA. Could be a nervy game this for the States.
Yeah, they have to think they just have to do what they need to do, and that is win games at this moment. We'll make the hit, get the single. Right now, just continue to score when you have the hammer and get forces, and a 3-point lead puts them in a good position in that game. Over on sheet A. All 4 sheets in action.
This is at the other side, our featured game, the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2014. There's the numbers. 4-3 to Sweden. Mick Coley and Alison Walker bringing you all the action live here from St. John in New Brunswick, Canada. Big final day of the round robin. Teams vying for positions at the top. And these two want to be up there and in the mix.
So first stone goes into the 4-foot. Shotong Sheng play the hit. And I like the decision. I like them playing this hit, keeping it simple a little bit. With the hammer, get it out of the 4-foot. A little roll to the other side of the 4-foot. Sweden puts it in. Let's have a simple one. Let's get to the 5th end break. We're down 4-3. If they can hang on to a blank here in this one. And then try and start scoring in the 6th end. You're down 1 into even ends, so you have 3 hammers to your opponent's 2. And Sigfridsson, nose hit.
Second stone. Oh, Shu Dongshi.
Well, again, getting to the wider part of the ice, just trading hits back and forth.
Another tight one on sheet B. Russia and Switzerland. Russia on 8 wins. Russia on 7 wins, rather. Switzerland on 8. Last stone from Binia.
Yeah, neither side really able to get a lot of offense mounted. You see the draw here from Felcher. But probably the best chance was a couple ends ago was a double look. Real tough to try and score a bunch, but got her one there. She did in the second, so they're through 4. And just 4 singles put up by the teams with the hammer.
It's a very cautious play over on that sheet. Yeah, the front end, just keep an eye on this.
So with that one off to the side, China elects to put up the corner guard, not play the hit back. Change of strategy, wanted to get it out of the forefoot, out of the center of the rings, and then put up a corner. Sigfridsson says, let's get rid of that. Let's not allow a corner game play. As we'll see the hit and the roll to the center. So, change of strategy here now to play the come around. Look at where they're going with the broom to cross center line there, almost on the edge of the 12-foot. Well, I don't think enough weight was thrown, and that's why it's over curling and on the front. So they took their shot. Now it'll be a battle to try and make sure you have a chance to score.
China with the hammer, remember, on this end.
This a little better looking line than the Chinese stone. And much better, it'll go right to the top of the button. Maybe about a rock and a half too deep. You could play that double, try and hit and roll onto the corner. Had room to get by. Could have tried to let that die just a hair.
Yeah.
I think it was still going to slide into the forefoot.
Just a bit further than they would have wanted.
And that's just being a little picky though, but there is that stone off the side. This one, more weight. And I don't think they communicated how much weight it has that chips off and goes back forefoot.
On sheet C, we have Germany against Latvia. 3-2 to Germany at the moment. I think fifth end, they have the last stone.
Well, Imogen Una Lehmann in turn draw. Couple of stones on the outside of the rings. Electing just to draw for their one. And has a lot of the rings to work with. They'll draw right in, 4-foot, get one, and have a 2-point lead halfway through that game.
So Germany into their break in the lead in our feature game. Couldn't be closer. Now lead for Sweden.
Well, by that freeze miss coming deep, the hit by Sweden, and it's in a great spot. There is the side stone. You could try and roll into the pocket of him, but you miss that. You have no look at it whatsoever.
So the Chinese with a bit of a headache here.
Well, 3 rocks left. I think they realize they're looking at that front one. Here they're going to try and draw in.
And our Chinese viewers, I'm sure, getting a great insight into the thought processes there. But look, your assessment of their situation.
It's a little bit of a bind. It comes back to playing the come around, playing the aggressive style, and missing and overlapping those guards. Now there's no run back. And this one needs to be there, or it gets even worse. Shea and Liu, Sedia Liu, come down, little tap, still phase 2. They're trying to hold it to get to the back one to get shot stone.
Hard shot though. So Maria Pritz with her first stone for Sweden. Sweden in a really nice position in this end, taking the game right to China.
It just comes back, I don't know if it was the right spot for China to go and be all that aggressive. They had a peel that rolled to the center. They tried to draw around a center line guard as opposed to just hit the wide one, see what happens. They were content in hitting earlier to get it out of the 4-foot. The draw around was missed, and Sweden was the one that took advantage.
Sweden just trying to plug all gaps, all routes, all pathways. Make it as difficult as possible for the Chinese skip. Onshite, Korea, United States. 4-1 to the States. Fifth end.
Looks like an opportunity here for a big score. You pick it out, you can score 3 and tie it up. On Shi Gim. Got to tap this one. There is room, I think, to get to it, maybe even get 4. U.S. just that one in the rings, trying to make its move down the ice. Will make the tap, get it out of the rings. Do you hold your shooter? And look at that, 4 on the board for Korea, and they take the lead. U.S. was in full control, gets into trouble, now trails into entering their 5th end break.
Yep, bit of a turnaround in that one. USA will need to respond in kind. Back to our featured game.
Well, they decide to play the run back. We'll spill that one out. Sweden lies 2 in our feature game. Well, that's not a look of confidence there from Sedya Liu.
A lot more red in there than she would have liked.
It's just real tough angles to try and run that and stick it with that type of weight.
So now they watch to see what Sweden do. Maria Pritz's final stone.
Can be real aggressive. They have that one back forefoot. They don't want to allow a draw with backing, so go top forefoot, top button. And you're virtually putting China in a position where they got to play off the side one. Well, got to keep this going because it's losing line. And that may let China off the hook. Now they have a draw with backing as opposed to a small window or an in-off to try and score.
There's a route in, and they've got 2 stones to stop it, if need be. So the last stone of this 5th end from Sedya Liu. Hoping to claim 1.
Well, his last rocks against multiple stones yesterday that got them in trouble. Has backing on this one by the front. Now right down to the backing. Get your 1 all square. That'll tie it up.
Well played. So China. And they go into the half-time break. A chat with their coach. All square. Sweden 4, China 4.
Well, flashback 2nd end and shot stone right now for Sweden. Missed double by Maria Pritz. Leaves Sedya Liu a chance. Hit, stick, get 2 and tie things up. Then to the 3rd end, China gets 1 with a lot of stones out in front. Has 1 back button. There's room here. Could be able to maybe make a tap and get 2 out of it. Just touches the front one, slides by, and a steal by China gives them their first lead of the game, 3-2. But Sweden bounces right back in the 4th. Maria Weinerström, 2nd for Sweden, made a double raise double, opened the center line up. A couple of shots later and draw around. Allows Maria Pritz draw, score 2, and take the lead. China gets 1 in the 5th. It's 4-4 after 5 ends of play in our feature game.
Elsewhere, that Russia-Switzerland game, this was quite a tussle as well. 2-2, as you can see. 5th end. Russia hoping to go into the break with the lead last stone. Anna Sidorova.
No deuces in that game, just singles back and forth. This, the first opportunity, first shot for one. And it's an easy one, just that easy open hit. Nicely done for Anna Sidorova. As you see, not a lot of rocks in play. Simple game from both sides. They play it cautious. Both teams looking to make a playoff push. Russia, a 4-2 lead into their 5th end break.
There are the other games then. Seen that Russia-Switzerland game. Germany 4, Latvia 2. They're in the 6th end. And Korea 5, United States 4 after 5.
Jag spelar mycket, har det varit 85. Det var ju 80 här. På långa, där vi inte hade spelat så mycket. Så. Var det 80 på Nina som vi såg på hela vägen? Det känns lite att den här sidan är lite trögare tycker jag. Den ja. Ja, jag tycker man känner av det lite. Man tycker det borde vara trögare där för att det är lång väg, men det är snarare lättare. 80 runt cornern som vi inte har gått in när vi gått i, men de har ändå varit på framkant på mig i alla fall. Jag tror det kan vara lite skillnad på här.
Det var många steg på Nina Stena på sista omgången. Nina gjorde 2 fantastiska.
Det var mycket bakom där.
多报5报区，1报区他们说线，5报线，这样大家通过交流，能把他们东西不断的提升。好吧。
然后咱现在力量稍微再提一点，现在普遍力量都偏小一点。
超进行的力量。
全都是进行力量，包括壳都有点小。
你可能要得回去。
对。
那次上到的，一般的力量跟正常这样子。
靠咱们时间也得快点，咱时间太慢了，现在剩33分钟。行，靠边沿着时间少一点行。我还没说。
And there we have the statistics after the first 5 ends. Very little to choose between the two sides. Just the 1 stolen point for China. And it all adds up to 4-4. In our feature game. Enjoying her halftime break here at Harbour Station. And she suddenly thought, I can see myself. And it's created the domino effect, supporting Team China. Enjoying the action. And great that the kids get in to watch this quality of curling, albeit they get a morning off school, which I'm sure they're very appreciative of. Look.
I think it might be more excited to have the morning off of school sometimes than watching the curling, but they'll look back years later saying, oh, I was there, I was able to watch that. I still remember myself being able to go do that in Edmonton at Canadian Championships, going in and got the morning or afternoon off, go down, watch some curling. At that point, I knew what was going on a little more than some of my schoolmates.
Not a bad way to spend your morning.
Well, got into some trouble, this Chinese team, with that situation. Basically now playing with 7 stones, that first one right through.
Contrast to Margarita Sigfridsson, 88%. She's like a machine, Margarita. Doesn't make too many mistakes in the lead position.
So right on the windshield goes that corner guard. That's been China's response with that first one going through. is to put a center line guard up, and Shotong Shea, a chance to come in at 66. That's not going to win over the coaching staff.
You know, room for improvement for sure. Sixth end of our featured game. Always good to speculate what would have been said in the halftime chat. Look, if you're Sweden, what are you saying?
Just need to tighten things up a little bit. We're given a few opportunities. When we have had chances, really put the pressure on. We didn't. Similar to the last shot, last end. Let's keep going, go out. Let's score our deuce. Take advantage of the misses that they've got from their opponent. And that one they won't be happy with. Deep in the rings, trying to use that corner guard.
And Tan Wei-dong so had his little mini curling chart out, looking at different positions at half time there. Just catching the guard.
Yeah, it was good enough behind that ends up touching the front, sliding by.
Not surprisingly, not happy about that one.
Jag tror att den här går lite rakare. Ja. Det här ska ju också vara den, men ja. Tror det är bra. Gärna det! Och gärna fart också. Hårt! Den är kort. Hårt linje! Hårt! Nära tull! Jobba! Jobba, 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 jobba! Fortsätt! Vi gör det! Fortsätt!
Well, and as they saw the Chinese do, they touched the front. Ends up leaving a guard protecting that one back 12-foot. Seeing it has moved that way, across the center line, and just dives towards those corner guards. They'll try and draw down to it.
And Lou hoping for better with her second stone. You see it beginning to curl now. And
Well, they were playing to try and get a little tick again off that top one. And in between, they could have got off and it might have curled the chip it a little bit. Instead, goes by.
so 2 stones for the Chinese that have gone somewhat awry.
So now a chance to protect that stone. Go around the corner and sit in the top part of the rings. Well, again, just will be quicker coming out of the break. They have their 5th end break. They run brooms around off the ice and clean up any debris that's on there and keeps the airflow going and end up being a little bit faster coming out of the break. Saw the first stone through for Shotong Shea. No stones deep and an out now for China to draw down to them.
There's not a lot of sweeping going on. You can definitely see the difference.
Well, and right by it, it'll sit for second shot. But both these teams having trouble coming out slow enough to make that shot.
Jag tycker den 200. 85 på dig då. Ja, nästan 90.
Christina Bertrup, her game accuracy in this game, 75%.
Bra fart! 8-4! 4-10! Nej, inte om den är 10. 4 tycker jag. Ingenting. Ganska bra linje. 4. Ganska bra nu. Den är bra. Inte för fart. Inte för fart.
Let's see where it's heading.
Well, they don't want to be deep, just top part, protect those ones back there.
Ja.
73% Yilun Yang. That one stopped just in time to be in front of the tee line. A freeze now for Yang has to be perfect weight, has to sit on the corner. Line is huge as well. Looks like a change of call. Play off of that top one. And they missed that one again. It looked like they were trying to make a play on it and use that top yellow. They're sweeping it, then they got off. And it comes to the back one. It's its second shot.
Jag skulle vilja lägga för den där också, men vi kan göra den. Den där är väl bra, va? Det är lite tajt. 20. Det är nästan som man skulle vilja chappa, men vi kan göra den där. 20. 20. Inte bra. Det tycker jag. Man får gå ganska nära. Ja, precis. Vi kan kolla den lite.
So second shots don't. Gonna try and play a hit and roll off of it. Move this one out of second shot position, try and roll. It'll be behind the tee line. Well, it won't make any roll, and make the double though to lie 4. Thought I saw an indication to roll to the center because there's adding more and more of a pocket. If China can get one in there, be in a good position, but skip stones, they don't have a lot of time left.
Running out of stones. Only 60%, said Jia Liu. Not great. Sweden with the final stone, remember. And they're in a great position in this end. So a little bit of pressure on this shot for the Chinese.
And we've seen this one will move. They can make a decision, the top one or the back one. As they bounce off of it, will sit for shot. But another one that I think could be able to remove. And then it becomes a real pressure shot. They all are deep and there's a big pocket to get into. But Maria Pritz look to get rid of this one. Even if you move that back red right behind it, just spill it a little bit, it's not the end of the world.
You would still rather be in Sweden's position here.
Well, just too many misses from China in the end, going deep. When Sweden went deep as well, they tried a couple to get little ticks off the top 12 stone. Even nose here and killing one of those back ones isn't terrible because you would then block off a freeze possibility. So lower numbers than usual for Maria Pritz.
Yeah, quite surprising actually, as low as that.
Last 2 games in the 60s as well, so she'll try and change that.
But this could change it.
So picks it out, uses their own to catch. Live 4.
Well executed from Maria Pritz.
Does look good, but there is an out. There is a draw here with all those stones behind to get out of the end and force a single point if you can make a perfect freeze.
And that would be a very, very good result for China. After all that's gone on in this end, so this is every last stone for any team is important.
When on these important ones, we've seen Sedia Louis not far behind, ready to sweep if needed. Well, little tap, little roll, and there's a wall behind it. A shot stone.
So what does Maria Pritz do here?
Well, I think it's running a guard back. Got enough behind. Red goes straight back. Can pick that one out.
So you don't play safe here. You go for the multiple.
Well, a great opportunity for a big end like this. I think it's worth the risk at this stage.
Giving it some weight. Let's see what happens.
Well, we'll blast that one out, and there it is for 4. Freeze wasn't good enough. Big sweep. Weinerstrom and Bertrup make that one for their skipper.
And she's allowing herself a small smile there. Well taken. Well executed, and it's given them a great lead now after 6 ends. Sweden 8, China 4.
Well, this was the big shot so far in the game. And China had the out. There are lots of stones behind the tee line. But the run back, Weinerstrom, Bertrup hold it for their skipper. And Maria Pritz picks it out, loses one of theirs. Knew she was going to lose one of them. But they get the 4 and first big blow of this match.
Yep, and could that be the big turning point? Been so close all the way through up until that 6th end. Still 4 to go. So plenty can still happen. A significant lead for Sweden now.
Well, and something we don't see from Margareta very often, going deep in the rings. Won't be happy with that.
China now with the final stone, hoping to bounce back after that costly 4 in the 6th end. This is our featured game in the final series of round-robin matches, a whole day of round-robin.
Well, that won't help China's chances sliding in, chance to hit.
On sheet B, Russia, Switzerland, 4-2 to the Russians. 6th end. Here's Belliga. Belcher with a last stone.
Well, there's one yellow sandwich between those 3 reds, and see if she can try and get a couple of the reds out. Won't, because the shooter spins up, but the action it has on it sort of spins back up in the rings. They only get 1, so 4-3 after 6.
Still pleased with that. Very close game.
Well, and the way it's sitting right now, it doesn't shape up well for the 3 or 4 loss teams that Russia and Sweden both winning in this draw.
China on 6 wins so far. Sweden on 7.
Well, the misguard by Shotong Shea is going to make this a tough end to try and generate offense. Now, Maria Weinerstrom play the peel. We'll see if China keeps moving the guard around, give themselves a chance, put it in different spots. Margareta Sigfridsson looking for first win, or first win since 2012 at an international event against Team China. They won in Lethbridge a couple years ago, 7-5, but that's their only win in 6 attempts, including World Junior, World Championships, and Olympic Games.
Top of the rankings though, Sweden, the world rankings, as well as the being up there in the top 4 or 5 here and in the Olympics. More than 5,000 curlers in Sweden, very small compared to Canada. But they're one of a few countries that have curling academies, and a new one has just been set up in Östersund. So they're grooming and nurturing stars of the future.
So centerline guard now, here just different spots, just forcing the peel in a different position, hopefully maybe getting a nose out of it. So there's that stone back, 8 foot. And Bertrup doesn't like that slide right away. Oh, didn't feel all that comfortable with it, but was able to recover and make the shot. Talking to herself in the slide.
Hey, we all talk to ourselves.
We do.
Sometimes that's the only person that will listen.
Sorry, did you say something?
哦，不用下圈的。
As we look for another corner guard out in front.
If you're China, you don't really panic at this stage. It's still only the 7th end, even though you're 4 behind. Just keep to the plan.
But with the first guard of theirs sliding into the rings, this one as well becomes a wasted end. You can't afford to do that. You're 4 ends, you're down 4. Need to try and get a deuce. Can't let these ends slip away that easily. Sweden loves seeing that come in. They can just play the hits.
Yep.
And they're a very hit favorite team. They love to throw it. It's their preferred shot.
Yep, China really need to dictate the play. Keep on the Swedish coattails.
The more stones in play will benefit China. Sweden will try and keep it as simple as possible these last few ends. And China will have a game against Canada this afternoon. We'll have for you, while it will be Sweden the afternoon off, and then we'll play the final draw against Canada as well.
Yep, so 2 big games ahead for both of these teams. We have a big Canadian support in here as well. There are the current standings. Switzerland and Canada on 8 and 1. Russia and Sweden 7 and 2. China just tucked in behind there on 6 and 3. USA still with an outside chance depending on other results. And of course, if they win this one, and the other teams more or less, well, yeah, they are out of it, aren't they? Look.
They are, and if Russia and Sweden win this both win this morning, that will eliminate the US from any playoff chances.
But all the other teams have plenty to play for. Let's see how the guard disappear. So we're keeping it simple.
And a win in this one, Sweden could be looking at a game against Canada tonight where the winner's in the 1-2 game, the loser drops out of it. So it'll be very important. Final round robin draw. But Sweden knows they have to finish this one out first. China's going to play the freeze now on that back 8-foot stone.
Not many stones in play though, look, and that will not suit China.
And our counterpart, Anne Swisshelm, has been giving me lines all week. You got to fall in love with your opponent's stones now. If you're China, those are your friend right now to use, and this is what they're going to try and do.
So you want to be close to them.
Frozen to it would be ideal. Little tap. Sedia Liu has to just. They need a mistake. They need some mistakes from Sweden. Sweden faltered a little bit yesterday against Scotland, holding on to a lead.
Yep, they said they were quite relieved they won that one in the end. They got away with it. They've certainly played better in this game so far.
Well, and there goes everything. Leading to the likelihood of a blank end. No point for China to take one. They need to try and generate some multiple point scores.
So these three certainly happy with the way things are going. Everything cleared. Maria Pritz.
So, Sedia Louis.
Tan Weidong shaking his head a little bit there.
See what they decide, if they're going to decide to take one and try and set up the guards and go steal. I'd be a little surprised at this. Well, but they will decide. They decide to take one and make it an 8-5 game. I'm shocked at this one.
Don't usually see teams doing that. What would be the thinking behind that?
That they're running out of ends and you need to score, then you can get 2 center line guards up. I'm not a fan of taking the one there, but we'll see if it works out for China.
After 7 then, they have closed the gap. They lose final stone advantage though. Sweden 8, China 5. Elsewhere, we have Latvia against Germany there. Beside us on sheet C, we're on sheet D for our featured game Sweden against China at the Forward World Women's Curling Championship 2014. Luke Coley and Alison Walker bringing you this game live from Harbour Station in St John it is actually, in New Brunswick. Because there is a St. John and a St. John's.
Yes, St. John's.
Part of the world.
St. John's also on the eastern part of Canada, in Newfoundland and Labrador. St. John here in New Brunswick. And easily confused by many.
Thanks for standing up for me there.
I do it all the time. It's not hard to add an extra letter to. As we see the tick shot try on that one by Sweden. They end up tapping that one back. They leave the center line guard as that one hangs around back 12 foot. China took one to try and get 2 center line guards. They have to protect that one out in front as we look at numbers. And look at the draw numbers for Shea as a lead, 68%. It's not going to do it. Trying to change things up and bring her into the lineup.
Just time though to get that 3 ends. To get things a little more accurate. And really important for China that she can get these placements. And that one looks decent enough. As we catch up on Korea against the United States over on sheet A. Seventh end, 6-4 Korea in this really important game. Last stone from Alison Pottinger.
Lines close. Clean, clean, clean.
Yeah, just had a 4-1 lead, 5 unanswered points into the 7th end. And the intern got to sneak by that guard. And Peterson and Nicholson able to hold that one. I think if they had a little bit, get by with a little more room, they might have been able to chip it over the top and get 2. Instead, it is just a single, so 1-point game. US has to win, but they can't see Sweden and Russia both win in this draw, or they are officially eliminated.
And it's certainly looking like a Swedish victory at the moment. Chinese taking one in that last end. Just making sure they close the gap, hoping to steal.
Well, look at the second numbers, and low for Weinerstrom on the draws, but hits have been spot on, and low for Liu at the hits, so slight advantage to Sweden at second position. Well, and will nose it, so leaving 2 guards out in front. Not the defensive end that you want to do.
There's a low shot of the line and the delivery.
Well, trying to get around that one and just narrowly touches it, rolls off. That's by. It's in a beautiful spot and a lot of pressure on Sweden.
Sheet B, Russia against Switzerland, 7th end, 4-3 to the Russians, and they have the last stone in this end. Really, really tight game, this one.
Anna Sidorova made a brilliant freeze with her first, and Benia Felcher couldn't get rid of it. They're trying to play the hit and get rid of it. Sits on top of it, meaning a draw to the forefoot for Sidorova to score 2. And a 6-3 lead with 3 to play in a pivotal game for both.
And a really nice shot from Wennerstrom there in our featured game.
Well, there they get their 2, and it is 6-3, so a 3-point lead for Russia. Right next to, that's on sheet B as we look, as they get by.
1-2, and another one.
He's hoping to sit in the forefoot so that this straight draw isn't there again. Well, making its move. Right to the tee line. They're on it, off it.
Good communication there, though. When to sweep, when not to sweep. There's a comparison of the thirds.
Both the thirds draws are down a bit. Hits, good numbers for both, and Bertrup overall advantage. Again, a Sweden and Russian win combined would eliminate the US from playoff contention, no matter what they do. And that would also eliminate China, because that would drop them to 4 losses with a Swedish win here.
So lots of decisions will be made after this draw.
And for all those tiebreaker watchers, we could have 4 teams determined in the playoffs following this draw. Russia, Sweden, and Team USA win. Bring Korea down to 4 losses, China to 4 losses. Russia and Sweden would have 2 and 1 game remaining. 4 teams into the playoffs would just be battling for positioning. So the peel of the top one, the guard back out in front. It's a bit of an angle to try and run this one now for Bertrup. Well, they figure this red one is the one that causes them trouble, so they're going to go after it. Well, trying to run it. We'll get the top one off. Leaves their stone top 12 foot. Blocks off part of that draw path as well. Leaves the guard still in front. China has some life here as they have some guards out in front.
They have to find a way of manufacturing some kind of steal here. 3 shots behind. 8th end. Liu with the first of her stones.
While trying to get around, an unfortunate mistake. Opening was there. Goes awry and rolls off to the side.
And a wry smile also from the Chinese skip. As Maria Pritz heads back up to throw the first of her 2 stones. And Sweden in a really comfortable position in this game. And barring any mistakes, should manage to add to their score in this end.
Well, trying to make the double, and they can't hold the line. Catches it a little too thick. Needed it thinner to make that one. Maria Pritz can't make it, and Sedya Liu could make life difficult on this Swedish 4th stone thrower as we look at the numbers. Liu, low numbers on the hits, and overall Pritz advantage 75 to 68.
Not a huge difference, but enough, certainly for the 8-5 lead. And it's the Chinese skip's last stone here in this end. Coming down that same side. Trying to tuck another one in towards the button. Is it going to be heavy?
It will be. Love to be second shot, but goes fourth shot. Missed that last one. Missed her first one. Now come down. Can see some of it. I think just a tap. Make sure you score right now with a 3-point lead.
Yep, they don't have to do anything too ambitious, the Swedes.
Hamnar ju lite mitt på, men sådär då. Det är jättebra. Ja, lur. Det är jättebra. Det klirrar för. Jävlar. Ja.
So Maria Pritz, chance here.
Last stone of this 8th end. Building on their lead.
Looking to play off their own to get that one out. Move it far enough, get 2. And they'll move it far enough indeed. Good recognition to play off that side one, push it back. And the in off their own. Good for 2 and a 10-5 lead. Sweden.
And you're wondering now whether China will regret taking that one in the previous end. Was that a wrong decision? And the game is over. They are conceding 10-5 victory for Sweden. Took that game by the scruff of the neck in that 8th end. And that takes them on to 8 wins, just the 2 losses. China 6-4. And Sweden played well, look.
They did. They carried that one and took advantage out of the 5th end break. Held on with that victory. So now sit 8-2. We see Sweden win that. We'll get ourselves set up as we'll slide over to show you more of draw 15. Russia taking on Switzerland. They play in the 8th end. As you look at the line score of that one, 2 deuces by the Russian side. It's got them on top by 3 right now. Latter stages of the 8th end. Russia with a victory would eliminate the U.S. from playoff contention, and China. It's China now 6-4, Sweden 8-2. So there's a look at the situation in this 8th end. Switzerland with the Yellowstones, Russia with the red. Russia lying 2, Switzerland trying to get a deuce. They need a deuce to give themselves a chance in this one. Binja Felcher, Switzerland skip. Trying to freeze this back one. trying to come down, sit on the corner. Just trying to give themselves a chance. Nose hit should be able to get rid of it for Sidorova, who has been on fire in the last few games. Won 4 straight. Trying to position them into the playoffs. A win here, and they're in a great standing to possibly get into that 1-2 game. They'll play both teams will play Czech Republic in their remaining game today. Anna Sidorova, 23-year-old skip. Get rid of it. Loses the shooter. Thought they might try and make the nose hit. Spill that one out. Now the question is, can they play the short yellow rays onto the red, roll the shooter in? It is definitely a possibility. Well, deciding their best chance, they can make the straight hit on this one. Thought they would try and raise that one and hold both of them. 35-year-old skip out of Flims, Switzerland. Quiet weight, needs to hit and stick. Got to get past their own first, get by. They do now have enough. Tap it all the way through. There's the deuce as they're able to get rid of that one. Score 2, and it's a 1-point game with 2 ends remaining. Russia trying to hold on and improve and even the records with Switzerland. 6-5 is where we stand, heading to the 9th end. Well, look at the line score here as we move over to sheet B now. We feature coverage of draw 15. Final day of round robin play. Switzerland, nice hit, scores 2. Vinia Felcher taking on Anna Sidorova of Russia. Russia comes in 7-2 record. Switzerland 8-1. A win by Russia puts them in good standing. Try and get to that 1-2 game and give themselves a second life in the playoffs.
Не, должен быть до. Должен быть до. Ничего. Не надо, не надо, не надо. Хорошо.
Christine Jurek, 87%. Christine, an industrial designer from Lucerne. Not going to play the freeze after she put up the centerline guard to start off the end. Well, a little bit of a bump and room here. Katerina Galkina. In-turn hit. We'll tap and roll. Oh, very nice. Katerina able to make the little roll underneath. Lie 2. 6-5 the score here, and great judge, great line call. Anna Sidorova and her team look very comfortable out on the ice as the hit and roll made. See how aggressive Switzerland is. A team that likes to play it a little bit more cautious without the hammer. Well, got to be careful where they go with this one. Little bounce. And again, chance to hit and roll underneath. Franziska Kaufmann, youngest member of that team. This Swiss team at 26. Well, no roll under, but we'll nose it to lie 3. Swiss has to remember, a force here isn't the end of the world. They can't afford to give up a 2 because it comes 3 points in the 10th end. Very low percentage of coming back from that. Well, this just chips off, using those stones to their advantage, trying to keep them in play. Just quite wait. It's a yellow in the middle. Anna Sidorova calmly moves out front. He'll pull that, or peel that centerline guard. Alexandra Saitova peels the front.
The two skips there. Intently concentrating. Crucial part of the game now. So much at stake.
And not just on this sheet, other ones as well, depending what happens here. More teams be eliminated from playoff contention. Irene Shorey, little tap back. Russia lying 1-2. Ninth end to play. Doesn't need to do anything too extravagant, just knows this one. Force the mistake or the tough shot to your opponent. 70%, Margarita Fomina. And right on the nose, doesn't touch any other stone. Well, this Swiss team coming off a big victory last night against Sweden.
They've showed some good form this week. Been the surprise package. Experienced players, but we're so used to seeing Miriam Ott for the Swiss.
Oh, big scrub and great weight. I think they get shot stone out of that. Problem is where that last stone that was placed by Russia, how important that nose hit was. They can nose it, get rid of that stone. Look at them leaning on the broom, just putting everything out there.
You can see it coming around now. So close to that red one.
So nose hit. Now you got to keep it on that side of the center line. And they'll roll it out, roll off to the side, get rid of shot stone.
So both teams performing well here. On this ninth end.
In good numbers.
Good stuff from Binea. 83%. And very solid. Made the key shots. First of her two stones here. Just wants to make life as difficult as she can for Anna Sidorova.
She's been right up there percentages all week long. Second among skip position. 82%. Above that in this game.
Great consistency, and she's right on the button there.
Well, again, Russia, just eliminate that stone. It's open. Everything is in the rings.
Same again. This time for Anna Sidorova. She's also 83%, so Skip's performing well.
Was not quite the 96 she put up yesterday in their game against China.
Катя, нет, нет, ничего до конца. До конца ничего.
And we'll peel it out, nothing to freeze to.
Хорошо.
I hate to say it, but this shot puts the game on the line for Benia Felcher to go down with 3. Very low percentage coming back on that. Needs a perfect corner freeze and has a very small window to put this rock in.
Good percentages though, so she is certainly capable of it.
Achtung. Bleib lieber T-Line, ne? T-Line. Richtig perfekt. T-Line. Richtig perfekt. Hoch. Chakarla. Wechsle, wechsle, wechsle. Wechsle.
Well, gotta have that late little bit of finish, the little curl. Very nice. They just couldn't go because it needed to curl a bit more.
Just didn't quite come round as much as she hoped, but it was still a very, very good effort from the Swiss skip. There it is.
Well, trying to see if they can go the yellows and spin it off of it, bring some of the other ones into play. Can't see a lot of the yellow, but could play weight.
Нет, нет, это не страшно. Он будет уходить туда, по идее, должен. Хочешь,
They look
что
very
тайм-аут
closely
отменить?
bunched there. So they're asking for a timeout. They're going to get their coach, Thomas Lips, down, just get his view on it. A really important stage in the
Нет,
game.
чуть-чуть совсем. Колодку же еще
Here he
с этой
comes.
стороны. Получается, прям совсем-совсем край. А этот сильно замазан?
Russia the reds,
Это мало.
Switzerland the yellows.
Не, ну так точно не вариант. Как? Через вот этот? Тоже самый край нужен. Ну, это да. Это очень в край надо, ну можно. А здесь просто надо облизать. Ну, типа, здесь больше вариантов. Либо, да, сильный вес, либо я прям совсем чиркаю этот, либо мы вот так вот и, типа, ну, пытаемся там что-то вытирать. On this one? Here is probably 2 variants. Like, here we have 1/3 here, one piece of here. Потому что если хоть как-то мы попадаем, мы по-любому его выталкиваем. Но мне кажется, надо иметь в виду, что вот этот все равно рассматривать вариант. Не забывать про него. Хоть и говорить, типа, ну, прямиком мы сюда играем. Попробуем его. Или. Думать об этом, а там уже, если что, вот это.
Well, Thomas Lips in an interesting situation. Coached the Swiss team a couple years ago to a world championship title with Miriam Ott. Now wearing the Russian colors and
Ну, либо чисто.
coaching against Switzerland.
Получится.
And he was looking at that red onto the other red, basically trying to punch it out sideways. And this is the one Anna looked at and thought she could see very small margin she has to hit it across the top of that red. If it's a little out, they could play the red onto the yellow.
Is that the least risky?
it's tough to give up a steal of 2 the way the angles are set up, because that one's in behind, just the stagger of them. So worst case, you're giving up a steal of 1, and you're tied with the hammer playing the 10th end.
She's not looking at that at the moment. She's looking at picking up shots here.
Well, they decide to go with the red one. They'll punch it out, they'll jam it, but they spill it out of the forefoot to get 2.
Good shot.
Fantastic. They didn't have
Good
a lot
shot.
of room to get by that top one. Anna Sidorova up 3.
Is she going to smile? Or is it more, phew, after 9 ends? Russia 8, Switzerland 5.
Well, here's another look at this last rock. Anna Sidorova, 9th end, has a 1-point lead. Lots of pressure on, and will pick it over the top as they go yellow over the top. Jams the back, no worries, but it kicks it out of the forefoot. And they will score 2. Russian side looking to improve their positioning, trying to get into the 1 versus 2 game. An 8-5 lead. Switzerland will try to score 3 here in this 10th end just to tie things up.
It's a big ask. A big ask. Especially against a team that's playing as well as Anna Sidorova's. And they'll have taken a huge lift from that last shot.
Well, and a Russian win would eliminate both China and the U.S. No matter what the U.S. does in their game, but if the U.S. can win and Russia wins, it would eliminate everyone but the 4 playoff teams as Katerina Galkina throws her second one through. So that one gets tossed on purpose. They want to keep it as simple as possible.
And keep us a few stones in play. Not give Switzerland an inkling of anything.
Both of these 2 teams will play the Czech Republic to finish round robin. Czech Republic this afternoon will take on Switzerland. Russia moving quickly here in this 10th end to play the peels. And a flash on the peel. Not taking a lot of time in the hack there and slides it right by. So there's a miss. Switzerland with some life.
They still can't afford to be too complacent here, Russia. If they're to see this game out.
Кажется, посильнее. Нормально, еще одна сейчас играет.
While trying to get in behind those corners after the miss. Get a little rub off that red one.
Если что, гад.
Play the one in the rings. Over curls, you get the guard.
SWE!
3-point lead. Might be looking at just getting the guard, knowing that can still be replaced. It can be put in a better position in the rings. So 3 is what Switzerland needs to tie this one and force an extra. With a Russian win in this game, it makes that Canada-Sweden game very interesting this evening. Depending on what happens in that one, to determine the 1-2 game.
So Switzerland try and build something with this end, trying to make some inroads. One other game is finished in the arena. And it's Germany 6, Latvia 4. Another win for Germany, that takes them on to 2. Latvia holding up the table.
Well, looking for the peel, see if they can touch the other one. Roll it off to the other side. So right now, 2 guards on the one side, opposite where the 2 stones that sit in the rings. Irene Shori can go deep with that, needs to just get a stone in the house.
Swiss certainly up against it.
Haven't got a miss though, that one peel was flashed. Saitova and a glimmer of hope. Well, it doesn't roll like they were intending to. They were trying to roll to the other side. They do lie 1-2. Both those stones will have to be moved.
There's the score, 8-5. Final end.
Well, they want to try and play the hit, try and bring that other one possibly into play. Well, makes the hit. Will it outcount the back one? It rolls too far, so second shot now back part of the rings. Vinja Felcher already in the hack at the other end, speeding things along.
Vriendelijk. Mamer. Remember daar, hoe ze nee. Daar. Ja. Zo. Ja.
Try and make the hit and roll. Use that one. Got to give themselves a chance. Score 3.
Goed zet. Oh. Oh. Achtung. Oh.
Can't roll out. Needs to make sure the hit and the roll. Well, they lose it as it makes that jump. And this just about do it. There is that tight guard that would be tough to play the split when there's the other red stone in the rings.
All Anna Sidorova has to do is make sure Switzerland can't get 3. See the game out.
Well, looking for the hit, and that should do it. There they are. It is handshakes.
That 9th end really was the significant one. Those 2 shots there for Russia. Allowing themselves a wave and a smile. That takes them on to 8 victories.
They are
Same
in
as
good
Switzerland.
position to get into that 1-2 game now. It's all in their control. They win, they should be into that 1-2 game. And with that 8-5 victory over Switzerland, they both play the Czech Republic, as we see a big victory for the Russian side over Switzerland here in draw 15. And that will also eliminate the US from playoffs and China. So just 5 teams alive now.
And we'll see more of these 2 teams in the latter stages. And briefly, we've got one more game that's just over. There it is.
The
She was
US.
saying, look, the US going down to Korea, so in the end, it didn't really matter what happened
Korea's,
elsewhere.
Korea's still alive, 7-3. They'll need Switzerland. One of those 3 are the 2 lost teams to drop back to them, Switzerland, Russia, or Sweden, to have a chance.
Thank you.
Well, Sweden, China, our feature game here in draw 15, and 6th end, crucial shot, key shot of the game. Maria Pritz has the outturn run back. Bertrup and Beinerstrom make this one for Pritz. Straight back, pick it out off their own, and that's how you score 4. They double their score and go up 8-4 with that one. 7th end, wide open rings. And said yet, Liu decides she's going to draw for her single point, as they will take one with nothing else in play. Cut it to a 3-point lead, and they had a chance to set up a steal. It was looking good. Maria Pritz looking to get rid of that one. Outturn in off. Get rid of that Yellowstone. Score 2 if it moves far enough. And they get it out of the 8-foot into the 12. And that's good enough for 2 more, and handshakes 10-5. Sweden defeats China to improve to 8-2. Here's a look at the other games here in draw 15. Korea upends the US, who's out of playoff contention now. Germany and Latvia. Germany defeats Latvia for their 2nd win, and Sweden, as you saw, defeats China 10-5. Look at the standings. Canada 8-1, had the morning off. Russia and Switzerland and Sweden all at 8-2. Korea at 7-3. Those are the teams still available for the playoffs. China at 6-4, just outside. Along with the U.S., Scotland and Czech Republic at 2-7. Germany gets their second win, and Denmark and Latvia still looking for victory number 2.
Okay. Well played, Megan. How important was it to bounce back after last night?
Oh, well, it was very important to get a few steps forward instead of backwards as yesterday. So that's what we were aiming for. And yeah, it was a good game, not perfect, but still we're happy with the game.
What was the strategy this morning after last night?
Well, just to reload and focus and really get the energy up and know that we need to pick up all the energy that we want and be very powerful when playing.
And a couple of significant moments in the game, and I suppose especially the four shots picked up.
Yeah, the fourth end was good, but we ran behind T-line with a little bit too many stones, but we had a good opportunity and Maria made a fantastic last shot.
And how do you feel about your position now?
It's quite good. We have everything in our own hands and one game left and one game left to play in the round robin, so we're happy.
Good, lovely, well done. Thanks again. Thank you.
Well, that was Victoria's skip, Margareta Sigfridsson, as they are winners here this morning in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. For Allison Walker, myself, Luke Coley, the entire crew, thanks for tuning in. We have Draw 16 action this afternoon. China's back on. They'll take on Canada here from the 2014 Ford World Women's Curling Championship.